Hello, good evening, neighbors and friends, brothers and sisters. Welcome. This is your Member Provincial Parliament, Faisal Hassan, joining you this evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I know that we usually meet Saturdays, but this is going to be the first Friday. We're going to join you live, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and also a Facebook page. Before I start, I would like to, I also wish to acknowledge at this time the land that we now know as York Southwestern is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuits, and Métis. Welcome, folks that are joining us live on Instagram. Welcome. And also welcome those who are joining us on Twitter and Facebook page and also YouTube. Welcome. And I know that this Sunday it is also Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. And the York Toronto Labor Council and the President, Andrea Babington, and the entire the Labour is York and Toronto is organizing a carnival, which will be a parade of cars. If you can, please go and sign and join on Monday. I will be happy to see you there. I'll be joining, and also members of the official opposition, NDP, will be also joining and also celebrating together with workers on Labor Day as well. Also, this Monday, it's also Rosh Hashanah and Shana Tova to members of the Jewish community in York Southwestern as you prepare for the coming celebration. I hope the coming year brings you peace, prosperity, and the sweetness of happiness. Blessings to you and your families. Happy Shana Tova. And also, folks, this afternoon, the Premier brogued a parliament. And that was also something no one was expecting, because I was looking forward going and returning to legislature to advocate on behalf of our community, to talk about the important issues in our community. Last night we had a town hall meeting on safe return to schools, a virtual town hall meeting. We also have last week a cannabis town hall meeting where community have expressed about concerns about safe school return and cannabis stores in our community. And these are the issues and other issues that are vital and important to our community. We also had a town hall meeting on auto insurance, and which was joined our official opposition's critic for auto insurance, a Cavanyard from Brampton North. And we had many questions and concerns about residents of our community. But the Premier, what does he do? He just broke the Parliament until October 4th, and that is unacceptable, folks. And there are many issues also with regard to eye care. Eye care is an important and we heard about the optometrist this week on Wednesday, to be specifically on Wednesday, about a lack of the government coming to the table and negotiating in good faith, so that many young people and elderly people who rely on OHIP, on eye care, can also continue their services there. But what do? Instead for us to go back and talk about these important issues, they broke the Parliament. And that is, folks, brothers and sisters, friends and neighbors, this is unacceptable. And as you know, my leader was also today speaking about this. And I just want to share with you the official opposition NDP leader, Andy Horvath, released the following statement. And I read to you in response to the Ford government's decision to prorogue the legislature. In the face of alarming science table data that shows the fourth wave of COVID-19 rising, Dark Ford's decision to prorogue the legislature for 3 weeks is unprecedented, abdication abdication of responsibility. During a crisis, folks, on the fourth wave that we are in, as you can see, the numbers are increasing every day. It is bad enough the Dark Ford has gone into hiding for over a month now. He is choosing to hide his entire government and members of his cabinet and his caucus. Whether you are a parent, student, or educator worried about a safe September, a small businesses or worker hanging on during a precarious recovery, or healthcare worker on the front lines of the fight against a fourth wave, Dark Ford has chosen once again to leave every Ontarians on their own, and that, folks, it's unacceptable. And this sends also a disrespect to the people of Ontario. Members of the legislature, we want to go back. We want to be there to work for the people. We haven't taken one single day off since the pandemic. 7/24, every day. If I'm not serving the constituency, I'm with you on live, hearing your concerns and your issues as well. So this Wednesday also, folks, was also arrived with the disappointment news for seniors and parents of young children that rely on the service of optometrist in Ontario. Folks, quickly, those who are joining Instagram, welcome. You're joining Faisal Hassan, NDP. You're a member provincial parliament. And those of you who are joining us Twitter, welcome. You're joining your member provincial parliament tonight at 7 p.m. Because we just switched, from Saturday gatherings or meeting, bringing your coffee and tea and any beverage you like, and let's talk about the important issues that you are concerned about. And tonight we have a lot of issues to talk about, and also we want to also hear your questions and also your comments with regard to broguing the parliament and also the issues of the also eye care. Many of you have written to me, and the Ontario optometrists have withdrawn OHIP insured eye services after a breakdown in negotiations with the provincial government around fair compensation for their services. For months, optometrists have been urging the government to come to the negotiations table to rectify the unfair compensation that currently receive. They currently receive. The optometrists have not seen an increase in fees to cover OHIP insured services for over 30 years. And that is, this government had an opportunity to fix it, but we know the Kathleen Wynne and Dr. McGuinty and Mike Harris and Evan Eves, they have continued cutting the healthcare. And healthcare is not only visiting a doctor, it is what Tommy Douglas envisioned, a holistic approach where it has also from head to toe. It includes pharmacal care, dental care, eye care, ear care, and also overall health, prevention, as well as also treatment. And that's important, folks. And that's why it's important that OHIP insured services for over 30 years, and it has been begun, to impact financial viabilities of optometrist practices right across the province. And this is also something it's very important that you know. Also, those of you who are joining me YouTube, welcome. I know I cannot read or share your comments at the moment, but definitely you can leave their comments, and also you can also write to me, fhassan-co@ndp.on.ca, or you can phone me 416-243-7984. Welcome, folks. I know it's a Saturday. It's beautiful out there. In this afternoon also, there were many weddings, many activities going on. I understand. But because we have started this, I don't want to stop it, because I want to continue to bring the concerns, you have, and also what we have been doing and what we have been raising about this government and proroguing the parliament. That's unacceptable. You heard also today my leader, the official opposition leader, Andy Horvath, speaking about this. And if you haven't really read about it, please check it, OntarioNDP.ca. And I recognize how important these services are to so many in our community. And many of you have written to me about the eye care. And those services are vital. Many of you also have called me. And also you're concerned about your grandmothers and grandfathers and grandparents that rely on these services. And they're worried. About what happens to them. Some of them have also diabetes, and it's very important to have these checkups. Some of them have a family of glaucomas, and they need these services. And this is also very crucial. It's important. Instead of working for the people, now we have to wait again until October. Just write letters. Yesterday alone, I written a letter to the Minister of Education, about the lack of resources in our local schools, such as the schools of Palmer Park here in our community. But now we won't even have an opportunity to question them until October 4th. I hope that they are still working, and hoping that they're continuing serving the community and being responsible and acting, as we're concerned about our community. Because now there is an opportunity for them before the election next year to do the right things now. But proroguing the parliament is not the right thing to do. The valuable work also of the optometrist helps seniors maintain a healthy quality of life and ensure preventative care of our children, elderly, and also the contribution of optometrists to our health care system cannot be overstated, which marks their treatment at the hand of the government all the more disappointing, folks. And as you know, also, I have written on behalf of many of you who have written on this issue directly to the Minister of Health, and I have shared with you about that. And I'm also disappointed, as you are disappointed, but we are going to pressure on, because the healthcare is very important. We cannot afford to cut services and programs that communities rely on. The Premier loves to shower praise on our frontline heroes, but his actions fail to match his rhetoric. Nurses have been denied fair wage increases under Bill 124, and we have seen that, folks. And BSWs continue to wait for the permanent pay increase they deserve. And this government should show optometrists the respect they deserve and do more to care for the people who care for Ontarians, our frontline workers, our champion and heroes who are really doing a fantastic job. And the treatment under this government is unacceptable. Folks, an NDP government will change that, absolutely. And we will put our healthcare, our education, services and programs a priority as a government. And we will deliver results, making sure that we work for you, not anyone else. Okay? Well, thank you. And those who are joining, folks, Instagram, welcome. You're joining Faisal Hassan, NDP, and those who are joining YouTube, welcome as well. And if you are joining on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, so that you could also get, when we go back to the legislature, updates about the debates and also question period and any statements I'm making. You will be able to get right away, and notifications will come to you promptly. So subscribe. And those who are joining us Twitter, welcome. And those who are also joining us Facebook, Faisal Hassan NDP page, welcome as well. Those who are joining also on Facebook page, welcome. I know that I will be also trying to also incorporate your comments, questions you might have as well, and also hear what is also your mind tonight. I know it's a beautiful Friday out there, and but I will be joining you from now on every Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. to hear your concerns, the concerns of your family. And I know that yesterday we had a safe return to school, a virtual town hall meeting, and we had a wonderful parents, local parents, teachers and educators who have joined us. We've talked about, the challenges we have and lack of investments in our education. I know that last year alone, the government cut 800 million from the budget compared to last year's cuts. So their cuts is continuing. They're hitting hard on education and our healthcare as well. And this has continued with Liberal under Kathleen Wynne and also Dr. McGuinty. And we need to, these are vital services, and also we owe it this to protect for our future generations. Absolutely. And an NDP government definitely will protect that. Katra, welcome, and Bardleen, welcome. Faduma, welcome. Those who are joining us on Facebook, thank you. And folks also joining us Instagram, Patrick, welcome, and also Habib and others as well who are joining us there. Welcome. I have spoken with several optometrists over the course of the last several weeks, and I know the decision to withdraw services is not taken lightly. They love their work and appreciate the opportunity to provide care that directly impacts so many in our members of our community. Unfortunately, decades of government neglect and underfunding have forced them to take this action to avoid the risk of closing the doors to their practice permanently. The government must do the right thing and provide fair and sustainable support to optometrists so they can continue to serve our community at high level for years to come. Every eye care is a vital part of our overall health, and I hope the government will resolve this issue promptly and work with us, the official opposition, to find ways to strengthen and expand eye care services here in Ontario. And it's very important. And now, instead of going back to the legislature and debating these important issues in Ontario, now the government says the parliament has been prorogued. And what that means is we are going to go back again September 4. We don't know, even at that stage in September 4, if the parliament is going to be prorogued again, And that's also possible. They might do that as well, because there's no reason to do it now, because we have been waiting patiently to go back and do the people's work. This is people's parliament. And now, simply the government, because they have a majority, they're simply saying the members of the legislature cannot meet until October 4th, which is really unacceptable. And I know that also, folks, we have also a federal general election that's happening now. A general election nobody wanted, And it's sad that we are also on the fourth wave, that there is a general election happening, which is not really needed. And this is also unacceptable. But folks, this is the reality now. They have forced the Canadians to go to the polls, and there was no need for it to begin with. And this is unacceptable. But folks, this is an opportunity for change. This afternoon I visited our fantastic, awesome candidate, Hawa Mire, who grew up here, educated here, knows about our issues, and her headquarters is located at 2567 Eglinton Avenue West, in the heart of Killsdale. That is Kill and Eglinton. Please do whatever you can to help. Take a sign, visit, help, volunteer, whatever you can do. She's a fantastic and having a strong NDP federal MP, things is going to be done. And I remember when Mike Sullivan, my former boss, when he was elected here on the Orange Wave, Mike Sullivan did fantastic job, because I know it, because I was his assistant doing the work at the constituency. Many of you have really come to the office, and he has been doing open. Even his office was open Saturdays. Remember, the office was also open on Saturdays. Not only weekdays and Saturdays, continuously serving the community. That's what you get when you elect NDP elected members, whether it's a federal or provincial. Your issues tend to addressed and also tackle the issues. Unlike the neglect we had so many representations of the liberals in this community, and look around, nothing to show for. There's no legacy. Their legacy is John 22, 22 John Street. We had one of the best, second to none market, farmers market, designed. I don't know if you know the history of it. Before even they created the farmers market, guess what? A researcher, was actually did the best of farmers market around the globe and also around Canada, and they designed exactly that. It was where everyone come, and now it's struggling. To be honest with you, it's no longer a farmers market, and now because they told us we're going to have it in that location, affordable housing, and we know it is not affordable. And also we know that the government also lifted rent control, exempted buildings, new buildings, and that also affected. And every single person who lived there, now they're worried about because they may not be able to afford it. So we need also to ask, when any person talks about affordable housing, ask them exactly, what does that mean? Affordable. What does it mean? And that's also a crisis in housing that we have in our community. And let me tell you, folks, where these crises began. It began 1996 when John Crochet was the prime minister, and Paul Martin was his finance minister, and then a prime minister. And what they did was 1996, as soon as they were elected, 1993, 1994, 1995, and 1996, all the way, they've governing many years then, and they said housing is not their business. They have nothing to do with it, especially affordable housing or housing in general at all. And they said that is the responsibility of provincial governments. So they downloaded to provincial government. In this case, they downloaded to Ontario. What do the Mike Harris then do, who was the premier? And what did he do? He simply downloaded it to municipalities. And that was the case also Ernie Eves, Dalton McGuinty, and also Kathleen Wynne. So the housing crisis is here because the federal government have just washed their hands completely. And that was a liberal government. That's the fact. And now, they downloaded these provincial governments to municipalities. I know our city in Toronto is struggling. They're doing their best. I see folks who are working at access to housing or housing connections, then now access to housing. They have done fantastic job. They are great workers. They're doing their best. But the waiting list here in Toronto is growing every day and continues to grow. And we have seen also flippers and also speculators that are also creating a huge problem. Folks, we have a good news, and the good news is we have a plan to get this fixed, the housing, and that will require an NDP government. And next year we're going to have a provincial election. We need to also think about a couple of things. First, we have to tackle flippers. We've seen also the federal Liberal from Vancouver or BC have been found to be flipping houses, making benefit of that. And now he is the Liberal candidate there. Now the question is, we know also the Liberals under John Crochet and Martin, they downloaded their responsibility to provincial governments. And that's also really, they haven't done anything about it, and I don't expect them to do. And also we know the housing program at the moment is actually to give more money to big corporations. There's no accountability, and they're saying they're going to provide certain units here and there, as we have seen in 22 John Street, a case example in our community right here in York Southwestern, and many of people are not even able to afford. Now they're talking about seniors in our building, a building which I think, John, I respect Mayor John Tory. He's a good man, and he came here because he was invited with the minister, now candidate Hussein, at a building close to Western Road and Oak and St. Philip. But that is, they're terming it. Francis Nanziata was also there. I wasn't invited there. But I have read it on what they said. They have given 35 million to this corporation, and we don't even know if the entire building is going to be a building affordable for seniors. And what does it exactly mean for seniors? So this is also a question of accountability. If the federal liberals programs is going to be like this, I think you should be asking all candidates what are they going to do and how are they going to help and how they're going to be partners with us provincially to tackle the housing crisis. The good news I want to talk about is the Ontario NDP housing plan. And if you haven't read it, please go and read it. It's check it, ontarionDP.ca. Google Ontario NDP housing plan. There you have it. And I'll explain to you. We need to have many options, okay? And we need to first tackle these speculators, these flippers, those who don't, making things difficult for everybody. And those are those really, really speculators and flippers and so on, and also put them into a speculation tax. Also, we need to build cooperative homes, which is working fantastically, and also other affordable homes and so forth. Also provide also other ways of also helping people. And one of the things really we want to do is to provide also a 10% down payment. So if you make 200,000 and below, and if that is less than 200,000 you make a year, then you are eligible. If you're able to then get a mortgage and able to get, you're having a problem with getting a down payment, and I think that's the right thing to get it, and you only pay it when you sold it, and that will be also when you pay it back, then it'll be also given another person, and it continues to support every single person who also wants to own their own property. And I think housing is human rights. And as you know, I put a bill, about housing is a human right. And all, we wanted to do is to also create a priority in the province of Ontario to make sure that we tackle issues of inequities and disparities in housing, but what the Ford Conservatives do, they vote it down again and again. And all it would ask was to create a committee to study, a working group to study the disparities and inequities, and also to have, independent housing commissioner who also make sure, the government also hears the concerns of these issues and make it a priority. It would have strengthened reporting to the Minister of Housing and Municipalities to make sure that we are putting a priority for housing once and for all. We are not saying we have all the answers to tackle this, but we have the record of the Liberals for the last 15 years, and their record is the same as downloading, as John Critchet and Paul Martin did in the 90s, and they also downloaded to municipalities. That's their answer, and that's wrong, because now John Tory and his city councillors are not able to handle the crisis in housing. But there's also other things they can do, and we're happy to be a partner to fix this problem. It's a crisis, and we need the attention of all levels of government, and I think it's an opportunity this time to also think about, as you go to the polls, to make sure that you also vote the issues matter to you. And I know that they're saying, oh, this election is going to be a low turnout election because they are the pollings are going to be away from your home, so that will discourage you. Make sure that doesn't discourage you. Come in large numbers and send a message. Send a strong message, because this is your future. and it's your future of your community and also for your family. Okay, so there also we have also, as I said, an awesome federal NDP candidate, and her name is Hawa Mire. Just check it out. Her headquarter again, it's 2567 Eglinton Avenue West, in the heart of Killsdale, the intersection of Kill and Eglinton. Okay, those of you who just joined, you're a member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan. And as usually, I join you Saturdays from 3 to 4. But as I said, at the request of many of you, we have changed the date and the time. And now I will be joining you every Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. to hear your concerns and also answer some of your questions. And I know that folks are enjoying the beautiful day out there. And also this afternoon, also I have attended a wedding, Haroon and Nasra, a beautiful young couple, and also the Abdurrahman Sheikh Ali and Khadija Ali's son Haroon, and also Nasra Brale got married, and I think that was a beautiful. And I want to say also congratulations, and wish you all the best for the new family. And that was also to thank both families as well for inviting me to be there this afternoon with you. And of course, parents are concerned also a safe return to school. And I hear from many parents expressing concerns about the government's underinvestment in a safe return to schools. Last night I had a town hall meeting, and we've also heard other concerns of also the Ministry of Education's investments in our schools. Many schools in our community need a lot of help. And I also want to bring to that attention to the Minister of Education. And I've already written a letter. And exactly, I was looking forward as well to make sure we get results as we return to the legislature. But now the Premier broke to the Parliament again. And another a month, September, October 4th is where we are going back again. Quickly, Issa says here, hi, friend Faisal. Well, welcome, Issa. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. And also those of you also are joining also on Facebook, welcome. And also welcome Janet Jones says, thank you for telling us how we got to be in the crisis in housing and how the NDP will show a way out of it. Well, thank you, Janet Jones. I think it's very important that we hold these governments accountable and that we know their records. Because if you don't know the damage they have done, we've also seen Cutting Win privatizing hydro. They would expect people to forget about it, to forget about it. We've also heard many times that they're going to help in our community, as we have been advocating flooding. When it really rains, it rains hard, and many members of our community have till today are waiting a relief for their flooded basements as well. So I think you're right, Janet. Thank you. And also, Janet says, is the PCMZO affecting places in York Southwestern? Well, that's a very good question. I think that also shows the Minister of Housing and Municipalities not really understand the crisis in which we are. And also lifting a rent control, it's also a mistake, because even not supporting people in the middle of a pandemic, it's also a mistake. All they are concerned about is supporting big corporations. And we have seen the reports that big corporations are getting really great returns, while people, working class, ordinary people, decent, hardworking people in our community are still hit hard, and there's no support. Yes, of course, those things, it's affecting us as well, Janet. And And thank you for joining this afternoon as well. I really appreciate it. Jerry Gross, also welcome. Just join on Instagram. And many of you also have not been driving lately because of the pandemic. Cars were just on the driveways, parked, garages, and they're sitting there. And yet again, no relief for auto insurance. And still we're waiting a relief. And every year it goes up again and again. And there's no accountability here in this government. You know, think about these things, and I think it's very important. We need to tackle the issues of affordability, and housing is one of them. Affordability of auto insurance is very important. As you know, all the jobs have left it in our community, and our transit also is not efficient, is not effective, and our people in our community rely on buses, on Jane and Weston and Keele and Lawrence, and they wait hours and hours. And all the plans for transit, there is none for north south. Every plan they're going to do is west east. You see the Finch corridor, we see the Eglinton corridor town, and also other subways that we have. These investments are good, but also at this moment, because of lack of efficient transit, a lot of people are driving. And we know also the trains that are also going through in our community, such as the Up Express, they're still diesel. Remember also Kathleen Wynne in 2014, she promised that she's going to electrify them. She campaigned, she went to not only our riding, but crossed the corridor here, southern corridor here, and that was just a broken promise again and again. And this is their record, folks. Remember, next year. So they will come to you and say to you, this and that. Make sure, we have an NDP government next term. It's very important that we fixed their mess. They've created a mess. And this mess requires you joining us and making sure that we deliver results. But also you have an opportunity now, because there's also a federal election happening in Toronto and also across the country. So make sure you very careful. You vote, your vote matters, and make sure you make the right decision in this, okay? So that we can also have a partner. And I said early on, when you elect NDP of elected members, you get results. We fight for you. As I can remember also, Mike Sullivan, who was the federal MP here to the Orange Wave, 2011 to 2015. I know the work he has done. He fought for Clean Train Coalition. I was also aware of that because I was his assistant. The work that the community Clean Train Coalition did across our community and also across down the south of Bloor and Devonport and High Park and Parkdale and High Park and Devonport and beyond have also been a partner on fighting for clean trains. And we see, because we had a federal NDP member, Mike Sullivan, who fought very hard, and I worked with him because I was his assistant throughout his tenure as an elected member of our community. So exactly, when you elect NDP MPPs and NDP MPs, you get results. And as Jack Layton used to say, let no one tells you it cannot be done. It can be done. And all you need to do is be brave, confident, and speak to your neighbors and send strong message on this election. And don't wait also September 20th. The advanced polls, it starts September 10th. It's a Friday. I'll be joining you also 7 p.m. Okay, but also I will be also voting on the 10th. So I will be also going where the polling stations are. I'll share with you as well. You can also call the NDP federal candidate Hawa Mire at her headquarters. You can also visit 2567 Eglinton Avenue West. But also, I have heard also many of you have complained the polls close to you are going to be this time far away from you. It will be far away from you, and that it shouldn't be discouraging you not to vote. Okay, so it should motivate you to go there. Either you walk or you bicycle or you take a ride. Make sure you vote, and don't wait September 20th. Start voting early. Bank your vote. Okay, and on I will also, because I will be meeting you next Friday at 7 p.m. And also while I do that, I will be also voting, going to the polls, also reporting back to you, and where they are, how many advanced polls are in our community. But also you can also vote if you are going, somewhere. You can also vote the returning office. I believe it's 501 Alliance Avenue there, and that is Rockcliffe and Alliance. Go there also. You don't have to wait also Friday. You can just vote and pack your vote there. Don't just wait. Just make sure, if they intend, because it's an election nobody wanted. It's an election that was not needed to begin with. Why? The parliament was working fine, and they just call an election to spend $500 million simply because they want a power. They want majority. They had power for 6 years. That was excellent, opportunity for them to show up. But we've known they're broken promises already. Because I know that we've seen that they're broken promises. So this is an opportunity for you to stand up and make a stand on this. Okay. Also, many of you also concerns about the government's underinvestment in a safe return to schools. And we learned also that hospitals are preparing a lot of pediatric COVID-19 clinics in an effort to deal with rising infections that are expected to surge further as the students return to school. Parents and educators and public health stakeholders are worried about the coming school year and the risk of the future lockdowns. And we cannot afford, folks, another lockdown. And also, please, as I also took my fully vaccinated, I know also we've been calling a last mile strategy, to provide resources to get to people, to educate them, to provide them where they can get their vaccines 24/7 so that they could go and get their vaccines. But that's not happening. In our community, it took months and months, to advocate, to have pop-ups. We couldn't even wait the government. We partnered with other hospitals to take vaccines to people. So we know this government have been slow, to act, and when they act, it takes months and months to deliver. So we still need that strategy of providing resources now, to take, make sure that people are provided those opportunities and get their vaccines as well. And folks, also, if you have expired driver's license or a health card or a plate and so on, the province has announced that it is ending the extension of expired Ontario documents, including OHIP cards, driver's licenses, license plate stickers, accessible parking permits, and Ontario photo ID cards. So anyone with one or more of these expired documents would be required to renew by February 28, 2022. So folks, you can do that, I believe, online at the moment. So make sure you get done, and you know that you have until February 28 to fix it and also get it done. Okay, so don't forget about that. It's very important now. Okay. And those of you who have just joined, you're joining your member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan. You're joining Instagram, Faisal Hassan NDP, also YouTube, and also Twitter, Faisal Hassan NDP, and also Faisal Hassan NDP Facebook page. Ayan, welcome as well. And I say tomorrow, folks, not tomorrow, on Monday, Labor Day 2021. will be taking place. And this weekend, it's Monday, and although we won't be able to enjoy the parade, seeing one another and walking together that we used to, this doesn't mean we cannot celebrate the strength and solidarity of the workers and labor unions right across the province. One way to participate is to join Toronto and also York Regional Labor Council Labor Day on 2021 Cavalcade on Monday at 11 a.m. And the theme, folks, is Rise Up for a Just Recovery. The Labor Council will lead a cavalcade of cars and bikes throughout the streets of Toronto from Nathan Phillips Square to Queen's Park. Please register before and also you can check it. York, Toronto, York Labor Council, and also I'll be happy also to join them on Monday to show strength and solidarity with the union. And please do so if you can join Sunday and enjoy the beautiful also weather and also the long weekend. And if you are a parent of young children, this week will be one of preparation. And the new school year is just around the corner. And parents across our community are making sure they have the resources their children need for coming year. School supplies and properly fitting clothing for fast-growing young ones are just some of the items on the shopping list. Parents understand the work and preparation that goes into getting ready for the first day of school. At the same time, educators are preparing lessons plans and doing their best to chart a path to recovery from an unprecedented school year. Welcome, folks joining on Instagram as well, and also those who are joining also on Facebook as well. After spending weeks urging the government to make a safe school reopening a priority, parents and educators are wondering where the urgency has been on the part of the government. The government's approach to education has troubled many parents in York Southwestern. Even prior to the pandemic, families recall the cuts to education, resulting in teacher layoffs and blooming class sizes. Once the pandemic hit, we were disappointed by lack of investments in school safety, as public health experts called for smaller class sizes and more space to accommodate social distancing. At the end of the day, students in Ontario have been out of school for longer than any other students in the country. It is a record of disappointment, one that I would have hoped the government was prepared to learn from. Sadly, this has not been the case. And welcome, folks that have joined also on Instagram. And last night, folks, I hosted a virtual town hall on safe return to school. Local leaders, educators who discussed the important steps we can take to keep schools safe. Ontario still has work to do to improve ventilations because we have old schools, and set minimum standards. We can be doing more to care for students' well-being with further mental health supports and helping families to make choices to keep the community safe by providing paid sick days and paid family leave days. As you know, that the government's so-called paid sick days, which was only 3 days, is going to expire. And if it's going to expire, then that's a concern. And we needed more days of paid sick days, but this government has not done so. We know also the Cutland Wynne and also Dalton McGuinty have not done so paid sick days. Only about her last couple of months at the end of her tenure, she just passed 2 days of paid sick days, And immediately 2018, Doug Ford eliminated that. And now, with the official oppositions and the work we have done on the legislature, our pressure and your pressure, we have got 3 days. But that's not enough. And he says it's a temporary. It's going to end in September. And now we are already in September. We want that to continue, and also expanding, also making it permanent, and also adding it, making it 10-day sick days as well. Ontario has work to do to improve, of course, ventilations and set minimum standards. We can be doing more to care for students' well-being with further mental health well-being, mental health supports them, and helping families to make choices to keep the community safe by providing paid sick days and paid family leave days. Vaccination also plays a crucial role. The government has done little to remove barriers and provide proactive plan to vaccinate students 12 and beyond, and has fallen short on mandates for teachers and education workers. We can do better, and we need to talk about these issues, important issues in our community. But what happens with this government? They just announced today they broke the parliament. So we don't have an opportunity to go back to the legislature on September 13th and talk about these issues, folks. And we have to wait again October 4th. And I'm not sure if this is also another plan that this government has in mind to also broke again until the end of the year. And that's also a possibility, But I don't think if they do that, that's a mistake again, because we should be there debating. We should be there getting results for communities like ours, and across the province. And this is also unfortunate. Also, you've heard my leader, the official opposition leader, Auntie Horvath, this afternoon about this. She spoke to you, and she spoke to across to the province. And I've also stated earlier on the program to basically explain to you exactly what her statement were. And this is wrong. It's an outrage, it's unacceptable, and we need to go back immediately to serve and also work for the people of Ontario. Also, folks, last week also I hosted a town hall meeting on cannabis retail locations in our community. The rapid proliferation and clustering of locations has been of concern to the community, and rightfully so. I have written to the head of the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario and other local leaders looking for action on this file. It's very important that we get it right. We are not against small businesses, in our community. We want to actually strengthen. We want to support our small businesses, but we also want to protect the most vulnerable members of our community, and that's our children. And we know that we don't want cannabis in schools, close to schools, and we want them away from schools. As long as they are far away from schools, we have no problem with that. But the problem we have is they are getting closer to schools. They are making more advertisements to young people and schools. So, put far away from schools, and we don't have a problem. That's what the community is saying. Stay away, put far away where adults are, not where the young people are congregated, playing or going to school. And also, I was also thrilled last week to visit with the members of the Falstaff community at their barbecue, which the community organized, and it was fantastic. They came out, they had fun, the young people were there, and this was community initiative. They came together, and the community is united, and I'm so proud of them working together and solving and having fun together, and that's a great thing. Community members reiterated again and again the urgency required for investments in community safety first, such as fencing repairs, closing those open spaces in the gates or the fences in the community, and also establishing and also gated entrances that they have requested many, many years ago. And now it's going forward. I have raised this concerns with the chief executive officer and the president of the Toronto Community Housing Corporation in recent meeting I had, and will continue to press for a swift resolution to that residents can enjoy the safety that they deserve, and we don't want them to lose any member of their children. We have seen them since 2018. We have lost at least two young kids, 16 years old and 20-year-old. And also we know that 12-year-old was also injured in their own community. And these are decent young men who had future in their community. And their lives is also do matter. And now the community there, their lives is matter. And we want this. It took so long to get these things done. And I'm sure that the CEO, Jack Sharma, has welcomed us open and warmly, and he said he's going to swiftly move in and also make sure that this is done. And hopefully we will also looking forward this is done, and also that the community is also protected in that regard. And that's also a very important for us. Well, folks, I guess it's coming close to the end of my time, but hopefully, I want also to thank you for joining me this evening. And every Friday, I'll be joining you from 7 to 8 to talk about the important issues that's affecting you and your family. And I know that we used to, since the beginning of the pandemic, I used to join you from 3 to 4 every Saturday, and because of the summer, and also because of the summer, now we are going to the fall and winter, and I think many of you also requested Fridays is the best time for you from 7 to 8, and definitely we will be able to continue as we have begun this, to be also accountable to you, to be accessible to you, so you can join me and we could also hear your concerns there. Okay, so we can talk, and you can also ask me questions, and I'll be able to also answer those questions for you as well. And of course, the sad news this afternoon and this evening is that the Premier broke the Parliament. For what? It's not clear. And I think that's a mistake. And it's a mistake. And I think, of course, we are in the middle of an election, but we are two different jurisdictions. We can continue, carry on the work. We are elected as members of the provincial legislature. And it's important that we carry on, continues our schedule, and that was scheduled for us to come back on September 13 to do the people's work. But now we cannot, because we cannot hold this government accountable. They cannot answer our questions directly, and we cannot even propose private members' bills in the legislature, because we have to wait, according to the Ford Conservatives, until October 4th. And we don't know if that is going to be again broke until the end of the year. And if that is the case, then that's a huge problem, because it is wrong. We are elected members, and we should be there, speaking on behalf of our community and the important issues I've been talking about for the last 4 months. It would have been an opportunity for us to go there and actually talk about it. But hopefully we have to raise this. And you also heard Andy Horvath, the official opposition leader, my leader, speak about this. And I agree with her. This is wrong. We should be there working for the people, and addressing people's concerns right now, rather than just being brogued, not being in Parliament. Of course, we will continue serving you at our constituency office. If you want any help, any assistance, anything I could help you provincially, my office, you can write to me, email me, fhassan-co@ndp.on.ca. You can phone me at 416 And that is, folks, that's it for me. Thank you for joining this afternoon. It has been pleasure speaking to you, and thank you also those of you who had the opportunity to ask questions, and thank you those who have joined on Instagram, and also those who have joined us on Twitter, YouTube, and also a Facebook page. And if you haven't subscribed and you have joined usually on YouTube, subscribe, please. Until then, I'll be looking forward to seeing you again the same time, 7 to 8 every Friday at the same time. You can join me on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and also Instagram. Okay? Well, until then, folks, have a wonderful evening and enjoy the beautiful weekend. And happy Shana Tova. Okay? And happy Labor Day, folks. Ciao.